Good evening, my name is Rashawn, and today I'll be sharing my final project for C++2. Unfortunately, I was unable to share, unable to finish, I was unable to complete the project, but I am going to share what I do have, or what I have completed. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run the program. So first thing right here, I have a home page, and I'm printing a menu. I'm giving the user an option to log in, register, or exit the program, because currently we're in an infinite while loop. I want the user to always see the login page whenever they're logged out, so they can either log in or create a new account or a new user page. Now I have two types of user. I have an admin and a standard user, and I'm storing them in this file called all users.txt. So my first username is user1, their email is user1@mail.com, and their password is pass1. And this value, or this char right here, represents if they're an admin or not. So since it's in, that means they're not an admin. Same thing goes for user2, but admin1 is a admin, and this is why they have y at the end of the string. So I'm using a CSV file, comma separated file, and I'm reading the information and using the comma as an delimiter. So now, and this is printing error because I was unable to create orders, because I was going to store my orders the same way that I stored the users, and then as soon as the program starts, it would load all the orders from the file to all the orders from the file to the program, so the user or any user could have their orders and can access their order history. But unfortunately, because I had a roadblock where I couldn't pass the how to find each order in my map, then this is why this error is coming up right now. So let's go ahead and log in, show you how that works. So I type in the username, user1, type in the password, pass1, then there you have it, shows me that user1 is logged in, and it prints the user page menu. Before we move forward, I'm gonna show you how the login functionality works. So I'd enter 6, it will log me out and bring me back to the home page. Then I'm going to try to log into the admin user, and to do that I have to put admin1 for the username and pass a, and there you see the menu changes. Now this is not going to work because, well, I'm gonna get back to this. So now I'm gonna log out, then I'm gonna log into, well, I wanted to register to show you how a user was entered. So I'm gonna log into user2, and then I'm gonna just log out, and then I'm gonna try to register a user. So first, as before, username, I'm gonna use Sam, then the email, sam@mail.com. Then are you an admin? I don't want Sam to be an admin, so I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna enter in. Next, before password, I'm gonna put Sam pass. There prompts me. It sends me straight to the user to the user page, which shows the user how to browse products, add a product, view a card, or check out, or view their order history. Now, unfortunately, the only functionality right here that is working is the browse products, and I'm gonna show you where my error is. That where I had a roadblock. So if someone wanted to browse products and she wanted to browse the electronics category, then she would enter 1. To browse the products, then she'll enter the category. It'll be electronics. Then it will print all the products that is a electronics. Print the ID, the name, category, which I'm now just noticing that it's not printing. Only one of them prints the actual description. It should be the description. Then it prints the price. It's printing the stock. Then you have the option tool to enter the product number. Say I want to enter product 3 and continue. This does work. The reason why this is printing 3 and 5 because I was troubleshooting to see if I could find the error. And there you have it. There you see our new user was written to the all users text. So whenever we log out or we start the program and we load this file again, then some will be a part of the, you could say, database. No. Let's go ahead and talk about my classes and how I tried to complete this project or program. So first object I'm going to start with is my user project, user class. So user class have attributes that you would expect, like the name, the email, the password. It's the user a boolean to store if the user is logged in or not. A boolean to say whether the whether the user is a admin or not. A cart to represent all the users' products that they have in their cart at the moment. While I was writing this program, I realized that I'd also need to store the user's carts in a file, or I have to find a method or a algorithm to store the user's carts in case they would like to log out or not make a purchase that exact time. Because if the user were to add items to their cart and then log out, all of those items will be removed from memory. I realized that later. I didn't get the time to implement that. However, yeah. So first thing we have our default constructor. Then everything is kind of all over the place. This is not supposed to be here. Then we have another constructor that takes the username, the email, password, and the admin. Then we have a method that checks if the user is logged in, or returns a boolean. It's called is logged in. Getter functions and setter functions. Very simple, nothing too complicated. Then we have a method to add a order and view all orders. And view all orders would view the user's order history. So all the orders they have completed. And this is why we had this right here, because it was trying to load from a all orders file, but that file does not exist because we could not create an order unless I had like typed up a file, which I didn't do. Then this is our CPP of that file. Nothing really major here talk about very simple stuff. So I'm move on to my handle user class that handles a user. So in this program, instead of creating an object of the user class in the main method, I'm creating an object of the handle user class because when I was doing research, it was better. It was more efficient to do it this way. So I am creating an object of the user class, but I'm doing it inside of the handle user class. So inside the handle user class, we have methods like create user, login, log out, get the current user, is the user logged in, load the users, save the users, and does the user exist. So these methods basically does what the name of the function said. So this function right here will create a user, then return true or false if that was successful. Then this will log in to that user's log into this user. This method logs out, gets the user, points to the current user, checks it, returns if the user is logged in or not. This load users from the all users text file. Let's go to the CPP method so we can see all of this better. So first we have our constructor, default constructor, assigning null pointer to the current user code. Okay, it is a pointer. So we assign null pointer, occupy that space. Then the admin is equal to false because all users is not going to be an admin, only some. So on creation of an object, we want it to be false. Then we have our create user method. Now what I'm doing here, users is I think it was a map. Yeah. Yes. Users is an unordered map that takes a string as a key and then a user object as the data, and name is users. So it's an unordered map. We're using the user.find method, passing the key, the name, until its end, and then if this is true, then we're going to print user already exists, we're going to return false. Else, if we don't find it, then we're going to create a user object called a user object of the user class called new user. We're going to pass all necessary information, that were the parameters, the name, and the string, the email, the password, and the admin, whether the user is a char, whether the user is an admin or not. And then we're going to create a new user. Then we're going to add that user's name, because remember we're using an unordered map, and the keys are strings, so we're going to pass their name as the string, and the data is a user object. We're going to pass the whole object as the data, and this is how I'm storing all my. This is how handle user stores all the users. Then we're calling the write to user file method from the helper.cpp file, and what this does is basically, first thing it does is check if that user exists in the file, so it doesn't duplicate it, because I was having an error where I had to put in this algorithm. So I'm opening the file, so we're reading from the file. First we gotta check if the file is open, then we're going through each line, and we have a string that we had declared called existing data, and we store that string in existing data. And then after we read the file twice. After we read it and we store everything in existing data, then in this algorithm right here, we made sure that whatever is in existing data is not equal to what we're going to store because we do not want to duplicate it. Alright, so let's go back to handle user, and then it will print out name and the user was successful, as we did see, because when I did create Sam, it did show that Sam was created successfully. Then we have our login method, basically the same algorithm, going to the map, using the name as the key. If the user exists, then we're just gonna log in, set login status to true, and then we're gonna assign the address of that user from the order map, and we have to use the address because this is a pointer. And then print that the user was logged in and return the user, because this method does return a pointer, a user pointer, a pointer pointed to a user. Right. Logout method, very simple also. Sets the logout status to false since we're logging out, then returns null. And then I can show you in my main method. While the current user is null, we're gonna always run the home page, and this is why whenever we log out, I'm still running. I can log out right now. Whenever we log out, we're gonna always be at the home page. I don't know why I had to log out twice. Whatever. Then my error for the last and final thing I'm going to talk about is where my error is, where I had a roadblock, and that is with the product manager class and the product manager, the CBP. So first, let's go to the product class. Very simple. This class just represents a single product. So a single product has a ID, has a name, a description, a price, number of that product in stock, the amount of that product in stock, and which category that product is in, whether that is groceries, clothing, or electronics. Have two constructors, a default constructor and one with parameters, storing all the necessary passing all the necessary attributes. These should be const and reference parameters, but this isn't a complete project, so I wasn't able to complete that. Then we have some getters, simple getter functions and setter functions, some methods to deduct the stock whenever a user completes an order, and a method to add to stock, and display. The display function just displays all the attributes of one product. Now the product manager now handles multiple products. So as the instructions instructed me to do, I'm loading each product. I'm loading products from files. So I'm loading the electronics I'm loading the electronic products from electronics.txt, groceries from groceries.txt, and clothing from clothing.txt. Now, what this is doing, the load products method, which is on the helper, this is using the category template. First of all, on the helper.cpp, load users, load products, sorry. So we're taking this class, the category, then taking a file name, a map that takes a string as the key, and product as the data, and then the product ID. No, what I was able to do successful was read I could read each file and add the products to the categories. However, it seems I was not successful in storing the product inside the products index that is on the product manager at CPP. Let's go to the edge. So on the product manager CPP, I have this map right here that would hold all of these products, but in one map instead of going from cat 1 to cat 2 and cat 3. Eventually I was going to try to access each method individually, but I was trying to avoid that because I know that wasn't efficient and that was redundant. So I was trying to access this method right here, or this map right here. I was trying to pass all of them to it, and then pull from this, so the user could just add the product from this map right here. Let's go back to right. So in this method, we're creating a product. Then we're going to each line, and remember this is a comma separated value, so we're using the string stream. Then we're using the string as data to hold each value or each field. So first thing, I get an ID, and I'm using the p.setID. Then I get a name, and I set it using the setName method. Same thing for the description, same thing for the price, same thing for the stock. And now the reason why I had this here, because I had changed up the files and I had removed the ID numbers, and I was going to use the name of the product as the string, because I thought that would make it easier for me to access the products. And then yeah, but so let's go to where, because when I had logged in to a standard user, and I tried to add a product, it only print out the ID, the product ID that I entered, and the quantity, and it didn't do anything else. And if I were to view the cart, it would say the cart was empty, then it would log out by itself. I don't know why it did that, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you that part of the method. So helper.cpp. Then I want to go to my user page. Then I'm going to case 2. So first, by prompting user enter the product ID quantity. Then now, because manage user has a pointer to the current to a user class or a user object, we're calling the get user method on the manage user or handle user. Where is it? That basically just returns a pointer to the current user. Then we're going to that user's cart, and on the shopping cart we can add an item. Let's move to that, and this is where my error is. So I realized, and this is what is printing: the product name and the quantity. So basically, this method right here did not find the product, and when I try to find it, it returns false, and it does nothing. It just stops right here, don't go any further. So this was my roadblock, and I was trying to troubleshoot this, but I ran out of time. Been on this all day, and That's my fault. I'm not complaining or anything. But yeah, that is it for my final project.